All right, let's go to our friend Jake Crain from Crain and Company. Missed him yesterday, and this kind of worked out because the news wasn't official during our regularly slotted time each Monday, and then it slowly became official after that. And now we can get him to get his true reaction, and nobody knows the Auburn program. Look, I respect his opinion above all else. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to college football, and specifically Auburn. Is Jake Crain. He's here with us every week. Jay, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Hey, my friends. It's good to join you on a Tuesday. And yeah, man, that timing did work out. I know you're going to ask me about it, but I think Auburn made the right decision yesterday.
Good. Tell me why.
Well, again, there's so many factors that go into when you're getting a coach. You guys know this. It's who's out there. What is the crop of coaches that are out there? Sometimes, like in the NFL draft, sometimes some positions are deeper than others. Sometimes it's head coach. Sometimes it's OC. Sometimes it's DC. I think there was a decent group out there. When you look at Hugh Freeze as compared to Lane Kiffin, I mean, Hugh Freeze has actually beaten Nick Saban. He's beaten Kirby Smart. He's won big games. Now, is his overall record fantastic? No, but again, he took Ole Miss to heights that they hadn't been in a while, and now you're at a place with more resources that has proven that you can win at the highest level. He understands the lay of the land. He understands who he's coaching against. He knows the areas in recruiting you can go and have success, and he knows the areas that you can't. And I said in the open of the show today, I think him screwing up, while it was one of the hardest lessons you have to learn, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes to me, that's the guy that's probably not going to screw up again, as opposed to a guy who's never had anything taken away from him. I mean, Hugh Freeze basically there was a big chance that his career was over from a big time Power 5 job perspective. Now you get a second chance. I believe he's smart enough and has grown enough to really understand how important that is and how quickly you can lose it. And I think he's hungry, guys. Yeah. I think that makes him hungry. And a hungry coach is dangerous. So I think Auburn, in the grand scheme of things, ended up making the right decision.
How important was it for him to keep Cadillac?
Very important. Like I've been saying, I think it'd be coaching malpractice not to do it. I think he needs to keep Zach Etheridge, too. You look at a recruiting standpoint, you need a person. We called it the FU coach. You need a person that can say, hey, coach, this may not be a great idea. Yeah. Or I tell you what, the Auburn people would really enjoy this. Somebody that really understands it, and nobody knows that better than Cadillac and Zach Etheridge and those guys.
What is the effect that it has immediately on the program?
You've seen some blowback a little bit, which I think, with Auburn, they could have brought Jesus himself in and there'd have been blowback. But I think what you'll see is the fan base coalesce. Here's my thing. These same people that are screaming about hiring Hugh Freeze will be the first ones at Toomer's Corner when it's going well.
Absolutely.
It's just like it's the same people that were protesting, keeping Brian Harsin, stop, messing with Brian Harsin. We're the first one with pitchforks and torches walking up to the Auburn Athletic Department ready to fire him after the Arkansas game. Right. So I think that's the nature of the beast. Winning cures everything, but I think you're going to see it in recruiting. I think you're going to see a really good staff built around him. And I think he's going to hit the ground running. I know he's already been on the phone, and I think it's going to end up being a positive here as we get toward the real signing day, which is now in December.
Take me back to negotiation. How real was the stuff with Lane, and what did you make of the outcome with him at Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think it was real. I think it was real down to when they got to the buyout. I think Lane wanted a buyout that he thought was more suitable to what he could bring. I think Auburn, thought that if we're going to pay you this amount of money, we've been through this buyout game before. The buyout isn't going to be what you want it to be, this huge number. I think that was the hang up at the end, but I do think it will be the best thing that has happened for Auburn that they got Hugh instead of Lane.
Now take me to tonight. What do you expect at 5, 6, and 7 here? No drama 1 through 4, right?
No, I think pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State should be 5.
Okay.
When you look at them compared to Alabama, now if you're Tennessee, you're just kicking yourself for that South Carolina loss. I mean, you'd be sitting in a pretty good spot outside of obviously TCU and USC winning. If TCU and USC both win, it's a moot point. I feel like Alabama or that Georgia and Michigan are going to be able to take care of business, even though I think LSU can give Georgia somewhat of a game early. But if TCU and USC win, I think it's a wrap. Now, if one of them lose, Ohio State only has one loss. It was a blowout, but it was against Michigan. Alabama lost to a 3, possibly now 4-loss LSU team if they don't beat Georgia, and a Tennessee team that we know lost to South Carolina and lost a little bit of that spark. Now, knowing the committee, if Alabama has a chance to get in, they're going to put them in the best position they possibly can. But I do think Ohio State is at 5 tonight.
What did you make of LSU's weekend, or more importantly, what did you make of Texas A&M's weekend?
It's I don't know how LSU doesn't focus on stopping the only player that can beat you for A&M, which was A-Chain. I was surprised by that. Was I surprised that they lost? No. Was I surprised at the way they lost? Yes. I feel like LSU, for one of the few times this year, just thought they were going to show up and win. Mm-hmm. They could just roll their helmet out there and win. And that's not the case. That's not the case with this roster. It was the Super Bowl for A&M, trying to get some positive momentum in what's been an absolute disaster year. But I think Brian Kelly said it best. It was a speed bump. I think this is a game that if LSU's in position next year, they'll be able to point to and say how they'll be able to say, look what happened last year when we just rolled our helmet up there and thought we could win. It's a lesson. But it still stings. It still stings because it's A&M and you were catching them when they were down. But I think this in the long run may end up being a good thing for LSU, as crazy as that sounds.
Coaching search is coming to a halt all over the country, including at Nebraska with Matt Rule being landed on there. What'd you make of the fit?
I mean, I think Matt Rule's a good head football coach, but is he going to be a guy that excites recruits to go to Nebraska? I don't think so. Look, he's put lipstick on a pig twice. We saw it at Temple. We saw it at Baylor. But Nebraska still has really high standards. And, in a conference that we see where Illinois is starting to come up a little bit with Bielema, obviously we see what Michigan and Ohio State are doing. Penn State with James Franklin, getting that thing cranked up. You look at Minnesota and PJ Fleck, and we know Iowa, the offense can't be that bad forever. I just don't see it. I don't think Matt Rule is exciting enough. You may sneak up and beat a couple teams you're not supposed to, but I don't see Nebraska being a championship caliber team with Matt Rule. I just don't see it.
Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin surprise you?
A little bit, yeah, because, again, more on the Wisconsin side than the Luke Fickell side, because I thought y'all fired Paul Chryst to hire Jim Leonhard. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that was the deal. It wasn't like Jim dropped the ball as the interim. I'm interested to see what he's going to do now. But, I put on social media, it seems to me like Luke Fickell is the kind of person that, is a struggling actor for a little bit, married or is, dating his high school sweetheart. They've been together 3 years, about to get married. All of a sudden he gets a part on Yellowstone. He's famous, dumps her and just starts dating Selena Gomez. We'll see if it works out. But man, I thought Luke was really going to ride it out in Cincinnati, especially since they were going Power 5. But guys, guess who graduated from Cincinnati and has a son on the staff right now? Urban Meyer.
No way.
Not a lot of people know that.
I was looking at Herb sitting at the Horseshoe on Saturday, shades on, hands across his chest. Day decides to punt it on that 4th and 3. They give a shot to Herb on the sideline. What do you think the status is of Day now that he's 0-2 against Michigan in his last couple of performances against the Wolverines? And then what's Urban Meyer's
What's he
life?
up to?
Yeah, where is he going? What's he gonna do?
Well, I'm judging by the sunglasses he wears, he's going to try and kill James Bond. That's the way it looks to me. Look, I think it's got to be the right spot for Urban. It's got to be a place you can win a championship. But speaking about Ryan Day, now look, is he on the hot seat? No. But if he loses to Michigan next year and it's 3 in a row, you're going to start hearing. The chirping and the chirping and the chirping because, guys, I mean, they built their whole offseason program around beating Michigan this year after what happened last year, and Michigan just pistol whipped them. I mean, I don't know another way to put it. So I think Ryan Day, we could start seeing maybe if there's trouble in paradise next year, you lose 3 in a row. That doesn't sit well with Buckeye fans.
Does Day not want to get into the playoff, you think? Because what if he loses twice in a month?
No, I know he wants to get in the playoff. He wants another shot at him. But, I mean, I just don't know the physicality level at Ohio State. You played Georgia. We did a little game today where we did Georgia versus Ohio State, Alabama versus USC, TCU versus Clemson, Michigan versus LSU. And I'm looking at the physicality of these teams. And Ohio State, to me, just isn't super physical.
Right. Jake, great to see you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for catching up, man.
Hey, you too. Good luck in the SEC championship game, everybody.
All right, man. See you.
Thank you.
There is Jake Crain checking in from Crain and Company. Check him out there at Jake Crain _.